Ladies and gentlemen, you know, there's a simple rule in life that will save you more frustration, disappointment, and unnecessary opinions than anything else. Never tell people what you do. I know it sounds counterintuitive, right? You think telling people about your job or career path would open doors, let people know where you're at in life. But let me tell you something, by keeping it to yourself, you gain freedom, you open the door to infinite possibilities, and more importantly, you take control of the narrative. If you're serious about success, if you want to make moves that truly matter, you need to hear me out. I'm about to tell you why you should never, and I mean never, tell people what you do. By the end of this speech, you'll understand why the mystery is your greatest asset. You ever notice how people are always asking, so what do you do? It's like an automatic question we all ask when we first meet someone. But what if I told you that you don't have to answer that question? What if I told you that revealing what you do can be the very thing that limits you, slows you down, and holds you back? You see, when you tell people what you do, they'll try to place you in a box that will define you for the rest of your life. And we all know life's too big for boxes. I've seen it happen too many times. You tell someone what you do, and suddenly they think they've figured you out. They label you, and with that label comes all kinds of assumptions. Now, if your identity is tied to that label, you've boxed yourself in. What if you change? What if you want to do something else tomorrow? The minute you tell people what you do, they start treating you based on that one piece of information, limiting who you are and what you're capable of. The truth is, people don't need to know what you do to respect your journey. They don't need to know what job you hold to see the success that you're building. They should see it in your actions. Your work speaks louder than any job title. You want to make a real impact, then show people through your actions. When you're constantly focused on the results, the end product, and the work you're putting in, no one will be able to ignore you. They'll see you for who you are and what you're achieving, not just for what you do. Now let's talk about purpose. You see, when you tell people what you do, they focus on your profession. But your purpose is bigger than your job. Your why is bigger than any paycheck. If you're spending all your time talking about your job, you're missing out on the real reason you're here: to make a difference, to impact lives, to leave a legacy. Never let your job define you. Keep your purpose at the forefront and let that drive your journey. The reality is, when you start telling people what you do, you open the door to jealousy and criticism. People are quick to judge, quick to doubt, and quick to hate on what they don't understand. Trust me, you don't need that energy in your life. Focus on your work and let your results do the talking. People will start to notice the movement, the success, and they'll be drawn to you. They won't care about what you're doing, they'll care about how you're doing it. Lastly, you are not your job. You are not your profession. Your value is not tied to a title. If you're always telling people what you do, they'll start defining your worth based on your occupation. But you're so much more than that. You're a person with dreams, goals, ideas, and a bigger vision. You're not just a job. Don't let people reduce you to that. Let them get to know you for who you are, not what you do. So here's the bottom line: never tell people what you do. Keep your journey mysterious. Let your results speak for themselves. Protect your energy, protect your purpose, and keep evolving. You don't need anyone's validation to keep pushing forward. You've got everything you need inside of you. Keep doing the work. Let the success follow. And when people ask what you do, just smile and say, wait and see. Mystery creates curiosity, and curiosity is one of the most powerful forces driving people's interest and attention. When you tell people exactly what you do, you give them all the answers up front, and the conversation ends right there. But when you keep things a little vague, when you don't give away everything about your career or life path, people become intrigued. They start asking questions. They start wondering what you're really up to, and they begin to look for clues about your journey. This curiosity can spark deeper connections, build intrigue, and ultimately create opportunities you may not have anticipated. When you leave some things to the imagination, you allow people to form their own opinions and ask questions that they might not have considered before. Instead of simply categorizing you as a teacher, lawyer, or entrepreneur, they'll start thinking about the bigger picture. They'll wonder what drives you, what else are you working on, what's your real story. This curiosity opens up space for deeper conversations and meaningful connections rather than reducing you to a job title. It turns you into a puzzle they want to solve, and people are far more invested in finding the answers themselves than they are in being handed everything on a silver platter. This mystery doesn't mean you're hiding who you are, but rather you're choosing to reveal only parts of your journey. By keeping certain aspects of your life to yourself, you maintain an air of control over your narrative. You don't let the world define you based on one job or title. People will still get to know you, but they'll be more interested in your story, your growth, your values, and your future rather than just your present role. You become more than just a label. They'll see you as a person of potential and depth. The best part, mystery doesn't only work with personal connections, it can work for your career as well. When people don't know everything about you, they start making assumptions and creating stories around what you might be doing. This can work in your favor. It can attract attention from others who might want to collaborate with you, open doors to projects that you wouldn't have had access to otherwise, and even bring opportunities you never expected. People want to work with those who are driven, interesting, and have more than meets the eye. By leaving a little mystery around your work and goals, you allow others to imagine the possibilities, and that curiosity can help propel you forward in ways you never imagined. Moreover, when you keep your ambitions to yourself, you prevent others from weighing in too soon. How many times have you shared an idea or a dream with someone only to be met with doubt or negativity? By keeping your plans under wraps, you avoid unnecessary criticism and protect your vision. You maintain control over your dreams without others imposing their limitations on you. Let people be curious about your potential rather than giving them the chance to shut it down before it even takes off. In short, mystery isn't about hiding who you are, it's about letting curiosity work in your favor. By holding back a little, you create an aura of intrigue that can lead to more opportunities, deeper connections, and greater success. People will be more inclined to learn about you, work with you, and engage with you because they'll see you as more than just your job title. They'll see you as someone with endless potential and an exciting future. When you tell people what you do, they immediately try to define you based on that single piece of information. They assign a label to you. Oh, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an artist. These labels are easy for people to process, but they can also box you in, limiting how others perceive you and, more importantly, how you perceive yourself. When you identify solely with your job title or profession, you risk becoming trapped in that identity. The world will begin to see you only for what you do, rather than who you truly are and what you're capable of. By not telling people what you do, you prevent others from placing you in a box that might restrict your growth. Your job or profession is just one part of you, and it should never be the sole determinant of your worth. People might look at your job title and think they know everything about you, but that's rarely the case. Who you are, what you stand for, and the impact you make go far beyond any occupation. By keeping the specifics to yourself, you protect your ability to evolve, adapt, and pursue new opportunities without being confined by others' expectations. Telling people what you do too early or too often can also create unnecessary pressure to conform to a certain image. If you tell someone you're a writer, for instance, they might expect every word you say or write to be brilliant, or they might start judging you based on the things they think a writer should be. When you don't share your job or profession, you're free to develop at your own pace, try new things, and make mistakes without the added burden of others' opinions. When you let people define you by what you do, they might also limit what they think you're capable of. People might place expectations on you based on your profession that don't align with your actual potential. You could be an artist, but that doesn't mean you can't venture into business or leadership roles. You could be a teacher, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't pursue your dreams of becoming an entrepreneur or an author. The moment you reveal your job title, others may lock you into a narrow set of possibilities. But by keeping your role to yourself, you retain the flexibility to grow in ways people wouldn't expect. Moreover, there is tremendous freedom in not being defined by your job title. By refusing to let others define you, you open up the space to pursue passions, explore opportunities, and change directions without any preconceived judgments. The more flexible you are about your identity, the more room you have for growth. When people don't immediately label you by your profession, they give you the freedom to become who you truly want to be without the pressure to meet someone else's expectations. In the end, when you don't tell people what you do, you maintain the power to control your narrative. You get to decide how you present yourself and how you evolve. You become the author of your own story, unbound by labels and limitations. And as you grow, so too will your potential. The less people know about your job, the more they'll focus on who you are as a person. And that's where the magic happens. Keep your options open and never let anyone limit you to just one thing. You are so much more than your job title. And when you let that mystery unfold, the world will be a much more exciting place to navigate. When you focus on telling people what you do, you miss out on one of the most powerful ways to make a lasting impact, letting your actions speak louder than words. People can listen to you talk all day long, but what truly leaves a mark is what you actually do. Instead of getting caught up in explaining your job title, your position, or your role, focus on demonstrating through your work, your commitment, and your character. Let your results be the proof of your abilities. When you're focused on actions rather than titles, you're setting yourself up to have a much greater influence, not only on others, but also on your own journey. Think about the most respected people you know. Are they the ones constantly talking about what they do, or are they the ones whose actions have shown their value? The successful people in this world don't spend their time boasting about their job or status. Instead, they put their energy into producing results, creating impact, and contributing in meaningful ways. Those results become their identity. You'll rarely hear someone like that wasting time explaining who they are. Their work tells the story. If you want to gain the respect and admiration of others, don't focus on telling them what you do. Let your actions speak for themselves. When you show up with integrity, passion, and dedication, people will recognize your worth without you needing to say a word. In fact, sometimes the more you tell people about your job, the more you risk being misunderstood or overselling yourself. If your words don't match the quality of your work, it can backfire. It's much more effective to let your accomplishments, your consistency, and your results build your reputation. When you're doing what you're meant to do and making a real impact, people will start noticing. You don't need to keep explaining it, they'll see it for themselves. Over time, the more you let your work speak for you, the more people will want to know what you're up to. And when they ask, you'll have proof to back it up. On the flip side, when you focus on results instead of words, you avoid falling into the trap of seeking validation. You don't need to constantly explain your worth to others or ask for recognition. The world doesn't owe you acknowledgement for the work you do. But if you focus on producing high-quality results, you will attract the right kind of attention. Instead of seeking approval through your words, you let your impact speak for itself. Your work becomes your greatest form of self-validation, and that confidence will resonate in everything you do. Letting your actions speak for you also ensures that you stay focused on what truly matters: growth, contribution, and value creation. When you're not preoccupied with constantly telling others about your job or profession, you free yourself up to invest your time and energy into things that will move you forward. You can dedicate yourself to learning, evolving, and achieving, and the world will take notice. The more results you produce, the more people will respect you, because actions, not words, are what truly move people. Ultimately, when you allow your actions to do the talking, you take control of your own narrative. You don't need to rely on a job title to define who you are or to explain your worth. Your work, your contributions, and the results you deliver will make your story clear without you having to say a word. And that's the kind of influence and respect you should strive for, one that comes from what you do, not from what you say. When you tell people what you do, there's a risk of getting too caught up in the job or the title and losing sight of the deeper purpose behind your actions. It's easy to fall into the trap of identifying yourself solely with your occupation, thinking that what you do is the most important part of who you are. But what really matters in life is not just what you do, but why you do it. Your job or career may pay the bills, but your purpose is the force that fuels your passion and drives you to achieve something greater. When you focus too much on what you do, you can lose touch with the bigger picture. For example, someone might say, I'm a doctor or I'm a lawyer, and while those jobs are important and carry a certain level of respect, they don't fully capture the essence of why that person is in that role. What drove them to choose that career path? What are they hoping to achieve through their work? The answers to those questions are much more valuable than the job title itself. When you lead with your purpose, you open up a world of possibilities. Your work becomes a tool, a means to an end, rather than the end itself. The risk of constantly defining yourself by what you do is that you start to lose sight of the broader goals that are driving you. If you're only focused on the job, it can be easy to forget why you chose the job in the first place, or why you're so passionate about the impact you want to make. By keeping your purpose at the forefront, you give yourself permission to grow, evolve, and adapt. The what you do can change over time, but your purpose, the why, remains constant. It's the foundation upon which you can build your career, your relationships, and your legacy. When you focus on your purpose instead of your job, it also gives you the freedom to pursue new opportunities without feeling confined by your current role. If you're always tied to a specific job title, it can feel like you're stuck in a box. But when you're driven by your purpose, you're not limited by job titles or descriptions. You can branch out, try new things, and take risks that align with your greater mission. For example, if you're passionate about helping people, that purpose could lead you to a wide range of careers, from healthcare to education to social work. The what changes, but the why stays the same. Focusing on your purpose also helps you maintain resilience when the going gets tough. No job or career is without its challenges, but when you remember why you're doing it, those challenges become more manageable. It's easy to get discouraged by setbacks, but when you're connected to your purpose, you can push through those obstacles with a renewed sense of determination. Your purpose keeps you grounded and focused on what truly matters, even when the external world seems overwhelming or unyielding. In the end, it's not the job title that defines you, it's the reason you chose that path in the first place. When you shift your focus from what you do to why you do it, you unlock a world of possibilities and allow yourself to grow and evolve in ways that would be impossible if you were too focused on the surface level details. Your purpose is the driving force behind everything you do, and it's that purpose that will lead you to success, fulfillment, and a life of meaning. When you tell people what you do, you open yourself up to potential judgment, envy, and criticism, none of which serve you in a positive way. Whether it's intentional or not, sharing what you do can trigger negative responses from people who either don't understand your path or are envious of the success you're building. People have a tendency to project their own insecurities onto others, and if they feel threatened by your ambitions or the work you're doing, they may express their negativity in ways that can harm your momentum. The harsh reality is, no matter how good your intentions or how hard you work, not everyone is going to cheer you on. When you let others know what you do, you expose yourself to the possibility of hearing discouraging words or unsolicited advice. This kind of external feedback can plant seeds of doubt in your mind, shaking your confidence and making you second-guess your own decisions. People might not always understand your goals, especially if they differ from their own. Their fears, doubts, or misunderstandings can be passed on to you, and it's easy to internalize those negative thoughts if you're not careful. This is why it's crucial to guard your aspirations and limit the number of people who know about them. By not sharing the specifics of what you're doing, you shield yourself from unwarranted criticism that can slow you down or divert you from your true path. Envy is another destructive force that comes into play when you reveal too much about your success or ambitions. It's natural for some people to feel jealous or resentful when they see others making progress, especially if they perceive themselves as falling behind. The more you talk about what you're doing, the more you risk triggering feelings of inadequacy in others, which might manifest as passive-aggressive comments, sabotage, or even outright negativity. People who envy your success might try to bring you down to make themselves feel better or to distract you from your goals. The energy that comes with envy can drain you, take away your focus, and slow your progress. Protecting your energy is one of the most important things you can do for your personal growth and success. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, even if it's subtle, it will have a negative effect on your mindset. It can be hard to keep pushing forward when you're constantly fielding criticism or dealing with the toxic energy of those who don't believe in your dreams. By keeping your goals and aspirations to yourself, you protect the sanctity of your vision and your peace of mind. The more you shield yourself from negativity, the more you can focus on what really matters: your growth, your passion, and your purpose. This is not to say you should isolate yourself completely, but rather be selective about who you share your journey with. Seek out the right people who will encourage and support you, people who will lift you up and challenge you in constructive ways. The people who truly want to see you succeed will celebrate your wins without feeling threatened and will offer advice without the underlying agenda of jealousy. They'll understand that your success doesn't take away from theirs and that you're all on your own unique journey. Protecting your energy by being mindful of who you share your dreams with allows you to surround yourself with the right kind of support system that can help you thrive. The bottom line is this: not everyone needs to know what you're doing. By keeping it to yourself, you avoid the potential for unnecessary negativity that can derail your focus and slow your momentum. When you guard your aspirations, you give yourself the space to grow without the interference of judgment, envy, or toxic energy. And in doing so, you create a strong foundation for long-term success. When you tell people what you do, you lose the opportunity to build curiosity and interest in your journey. Curiosity is one of the most powerful human emotions. It drives people to ask questions, to learn more, and to explore. If you reveal everything about your job or profession right away, you rob others of the chance to be intrigued by you and what you're doing. When people don't know exactly what you're up to, they become more likely to ask questions, engage with you, and try to uncover the story behind your work. This curiosity can lead to more meaningful interactions, deeper connections, and even unexpected opportunities that you might not have had access to if you'd shared everything up front. When you keep your job or role to yourself, it allows others to fill in the blanks, and that creates a level of mystery and allure around you. This mystery is powerful because it draws people in and makes them want to know more. The less you say about your work, the more others will be curious about your journey, your goals, and what makes you tick. And once that curiosity is sparked, people are more likely to remember you and your story, and they might even seek you out for collaborations, partnerships, or other opportunities that you wouldn't have encountered if you had shared too much too soon. Curiosity also works in your favor when it comes to how people perceive your value. When someone doesn't know exactly what you do, they often make assumptions based on their imagination. They might envision you as someone much more than just a job title, a person with endless potential, someone who is full of ideas and capable of achieving great things. They see you as a mystery to unravel. And that sense of intrigue can make you appear more dynamic and interesting than if you simply told them your job title. It opens the door for people to see you in a more expansive light, and as a result, you may find yourself being offered opportunities that go beyond the narrow confines of your current position. On the flip side, if you tell people exactly what you do, they may prematurely put you in a box. They'll categorize you based on your profession, your title, or your role, and that can limit how they view your potential. They may start to think they know everything about you, reducing you to a single job or task. People often underestimate the complexity and multifaceted nature of individuals, but by leaving some things unsaid, you encourage them to see you as a person with depth, full of potential that goes beyond the surface. The beauty of not telling people what you do is that it allows you to define your own narrative. You don't allow others to dictate how they see you or what they expect from you based on a single aspect of your life. You're able to reveal your purpose, your vision, and your impact on your terms when the time is right. It gives you the space to grow, evolve, and redefine your journey without being limited by preconceived ideas or the expectations of others. At the same time, the curiosity you generate can create opportunities for you to build relationships with people who are genuinely interested in learning more about you, not just about your job title. They'll be more inclined to ask deeper questions, engage with you on a personal level, and find common ground. This opens the door for connections that are based on shared values, interests, and aspirations, rather than simply being tied to a particular job or role. And as your relationships grow, so too will your potential for new opportunities and success.